I get nervous around the elderly because I know what they're capable of. We put the geriatric community in nursing homes for the same reason that we put violent criminals in prison, and it's that they're both a danger to society. When I was 15, we moved in with my grandmother. And Catherine was at the stage in her life where it wasn't going to be long before 6-year-olds were going to start turning into speed bumps at the Walmart. There was one morning where I was downstairs and I was buttering some toast and I heard footsteps behind me, and so I turned around to see Grandma in the doorway, full frontal, bush out. She looked at me and she was like, "What's for breakfast?" I was like, "Dude, pants." We're gonna get you a t-shirt to cover up those scrambled egg titties too. I questioned my sexuality for months after that. Speaking of questioning your sexuality, I watched The Princess Diaries when I was 11. Yeah. And I watched the movie, and after I watched the movie, so Anne Hathaway's character, she's got this thing that she does where she'll know that she's met Prince Charming when after she kisses him, her leg will do a little one of those. And so I developed this tick where I would, at almost anything. My mom sat me down one day and looked me directly in the eyes and she said that, "Honey, your father's leaving." I got up off the couch and I said, "Oh, really?" A couple months later, they killed Osama bin Laden, and I was like, my mom's a pacifist. She only hit me once in the face on a school field trip. It was at an environmental education center where we were going to learn about socks and sandals things from socks and sandals people. It was the end of the field trip, and she was thanking the Ewoks for the very nice time and all of the wonderful information they gave us about the trees. And when I ran up behind her, I noticed there was a large mosquito on the back of her head. And so I jumped up and I swatted the shit out of that mosquito. Immediately, her instinct kicked in and she opened up her hips and slapped me across the face. When I opened my eye, the other one was swollen shut. I saw her and the Patagonia squad standing there in shock. But my guidance counselor says I have low processing speed, so I just looked at her and was like, and I fucking ran away. It's not all harsh though. When I was 9 years old, we were over at my cousin's house for Christmas. And we were up in his room. He's a couple years older than me. And he looked at me. He's like, "You know Santa Claus isn't real, right?" And I was like, "Dude, fucking of course I know that. I'm 9. What do you think? I'm an idiot?" And on the inside, though, I was emotionally devastated. And so I got over it, tried to get over it. And Christmas goes on. We have a wonderful Christmas. I see him after the next summer. The rest of the family had gone to Europe. And when they came back, his knee had been bothering him quite a bit. And so they took him to get checked out, and they did some tests, and it came back that he had osteosarcoma in his knee. Yeah. And after that, he starts doing the rounds of chemo, and so I see him another 6 months to a year later. And the chemo has burned all of his hair off, and he's in a lot of pain. And So then I see him again about another year later, and the cancer's in remission this time, and the chemo was successful, but they did have to amputate his leg. But even though how tough that is, he's still going to get to have a life. And so I see him another 6 months later, and the cancer's come back more aggressive this time, and he is terminal, and he's not going to make it. And then another couple months later, I'm at his funeral, and I'm listening to his eulogy, and that's when I realized that you should never ever tell anyone that Santa Claus isn't real. Because he'll come back and he'll fucking get you. Thank you very much.